Before I begin, I want to make a note. If you are not already part of my Stampin' Piece VIP group, that's a Facebook group, okay, which is different than my Stampin' Scrap with Mary Knabe business page, okay? Groups and pages function a little bit differently. And since I'm now pretty much in the habit of doing 2 Facebook Lives per week, I'm going to continue to do the Tuesday evening 7 p.m. Facebook Live on this channel, Stampin' Scrap with Mary Knabe, my business page. However, my Thursday afternoon, I'm going to be switching to my Facebook group, Stampin' Piece VIP group, okay? So starting in June, my Thursday will be on my group page. So what you need to do is go to that, search that, and request to join if you're not already a member of that. And I will add you, and then you'll get to see the Facebook Lives there. And you can also share that information with other people you know, and I will, if they request, I will certainly add them to the VIP group, okay? But just so you know, starting in June, the Thursday afternoon Facebook Live will be on my group page, okay? The Stampin' Piece VIP group. Tuesday will stay as is. Okay, so here is a card that we made in my masculine card class this month. And to me, it looks like, to be honest, and I guess I'm complimenting myself and my own work, but to me, it kind of looks like a piece of artwork. And I want to show you just how easy it is. Sometimes we see something like this and we get intimidated, but then somebody shows us the ropes and it really is much easier than we think. Okay, so this is what we're going to be making today. I'm using the Let It Ride stamp set. It's in our Occasions catalog. It will be carrying over to our new annual catalog, which starts on June 4th. If you are in need of a catalog and you're not currently working with a demonstrator and you would like me to send you a catalog, I would love to do that and earn your business. All you have to do is private message me your mailing address and a request for the new annual catalog. Okay, so I'm going to set some of these things aside. You'll need 2 envelopes. I've got 2 standard size pieces of soft suede cardstock. So they measure 5.5 by 8.5 inches and they're scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so standard size. I have 2 pieces of Whisper White, which measure 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. These are for the inside of the card. That soft suede is too dark to write on, so we want to use that. I have 2 pieces of Whisper White that measure 4 1/4 inch by 3 inches. Okay, and then they will be layered on top of basic black, and that is an 1/8 of an inch larger. So that is 4 3/8 inch by 3 1/8 inch, okay? And then in addition, we'll be using some blends. I've got some Stampin' pads in soft suede, mossy meadow, and seaside spray. And honestly, I'm not sure if I use balmy blue or seaside spray. Either one works. I think I used one at one class and one at the other, so that's not a problem. Maybe the balmy blue is just a little bit brighter. Okay, but either one will work. And the green is mossy meadow, and of course soft suede ink. So the first thing I'm going to do, well, the first thing will be pull up a piece of scrap paper. And this is a red rubber stamp set, so you don't necessarily need that Stampin' mat, but I typically like to use it anyways, and then I'm not forgetting it with the photopolymer sets. Okay, so I generally just use it for all of my stamping. and it just makes for great images, okay? I'm just stamping this large horse on the lower left corner and side of my envelope, okay? Now I'm going to take that piece of soft suede cardstock, okay? I've already scored it in the center and folded it, but it's easiest to work with it open. And what I want to do is stamp the horse in the lower right-hand corner with as much of the horse showing as possible. I don't want to really go off my cardstock too much or at all. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do that second one. You remember my motto: if you're making one card, you might as well make two. And then you can add it to your stash. Okay, it's just as easy. I mean, if you're cutting one standard size card base, you're actually making two with that one sheet of cardstock. So why not make two cards? Okay, then I'm going to stamp this saying, live as if someone left the gate open. This would be great for retirement, congratulations, just a little, what do I want to say? A little bit of encouragement, something like that. It's just a fun, inspiring quote. And I'm going to do it towards the bottom of the card, okay? And I'm going to do it so that it's centered in this open space, so between the horse and the left side. You don't have to be exact, but that's what we're going for. Okay, and if you do it like that, you'll be leaving plenty of room for the main focus of our card front. Okay, and if you're thinking about it and you have a stamp that is personalized, go ahead and stamp the back of it right away. I wish I would remember to do this more often as I'm creating. Usually I finish a stack of cards and then I have to go back and add my personalized stamp. And if you don't have a personalized stamp, sign your name or put your initials or something to let people know that it was made by you. You deserve that credit. Okay. Next, I'm going to put some adhesive on these Whisper White pieces. And these are going again in the inside of the card. They measure 5 1/4 by 4 inches, standard size. Okay, so that's my card so far. And once I do that, I can set these card bases aside. Okay, Dana, what was the 10 or 10? Oh, cards, number of cards you make, yes. In fact, I was doing that today. I cut extra for my classes this month on purpose because I need certain cards, and I wanted to make sure that I did those. Okay, so I'm going to set that soft suede ink aside along with those stamps I just used. And now I'm going to be stamping on my white pieces, okay? And I'm going to use the Memento black ink, okay? And I do need a little bit of scrap paper, so let me do this. I always like to see the edges of my Stampin' Pierce mat just to make sure I know where I am. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do on each one is stamp the horses at the bottom. Ooh, a little heavy on the ink there. Okay, I'm going to do that on the second one. I also like to do things like assembly line style when I'm stamping more than one card. And then I'm going to stamp the evergreen trees. Okay. Inez, I'm looking at your comment. I noticed that you have the sticker on your stamp. Is that the old style label? And if so, how in the heck do you make it stick to the block? These are I believe, yes, this is a cling set. Okay, this is a cling set. Now with my other ones, and I don't have one handy, but with my other ones, if they were not sticking, what I would do is just take a tiny little piece, just the slightest little bit of snail, just like that, slightest little bit of snail, and put it on that label before I put it onto the block. It does make your blocks kind of gunky, you know, dirty, but you can easily clean that off with either Stays-On cleaner, nail polish remover, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's my little trick for our old style labels. Okay, and you don't want to use the double-sided tape, you don't want to use fuse, you don't want to use glue dots. All those things make it even more difficult to clean the blocks. My blocks are used all the time. I don't really worry about them looking a little gunky at times. In fact, you can probably see this one is. And it's from doing that sort of thing, okay? And I need to put a piece of scrap paper down because I just dropped this stamp. And it had ink on, so I don't want to get that. Okay, answer your question. But yes, the new cling labels are fabulous, fabulous. I'm absolutely loving them. Okay, so I'm going to set this example here so you can see how I'm stamping the trees. I must have picked up a pretty juicy ink pad here, but that's all right. Okay, and I'm just scattering them, dispersing them. That gives the impression, the look of some depth. Okay, I recently re-inked this, so it's kind of goopy, a little too juicy. But anyways, and now it's time to do the painting and the coloring. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do the horses first. I'm going to put this where you can see it. I'll do the horses first, and what I'm doing is I'm going to use the paintbrush tip of my dark crumb cake Stampin' Blend. Okay, and I'm just basically going to fill in the whole horse. And remember, when you're using these Stampin' Blends, especially the brush tip, work with it like a brush. Don't color. You don't need to press hard. Just very, very lightly touch the cardstock and then kind of just stroke it. Use it as brush. And you can see with the how do I say, the rough drawing of the images, you don't have to be exact with your coloring either, okay? And it all works out perfectly. So this is a fun one. It looks like it's complicated, but it really is not at all complicated to make this card or color it in such a way that it makes you look like a real artist. Okay, now I'm going in with the dark soft suede Stampin' Blends, and I'm just adding some little highlights to the legs, maybe wherever I feel like. Okay, can you see that? This was step one with the dark crumb cake, and then I've added some of the soft suede. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the second one, and again, just light strokes here. Again, you don't have to be perfect, just adding some darker color. Now, if you feel like you want to blend those a little bit more so you don't see the lines, go ahead and use your paintbrush again, paintbrush tip on the dark crumb cake, and just kind of fill in like that. And it kind of softens the lines of the dark soft suede ink that you added to the horse. Okay, just blends them a little bit better. Can you see the difference here? This is before adding that another layer of the crumb cake. Okay, and of course you could use all kinds of variations of color for your horses. You know, make it your own. Okay. There, I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Oops, this has got a little bit of a white nose here. There. Now I'm going to add the green, and I'm using Mossy Meadow Light. And I just, honestly, I love the brush tips. So what I'm going to do here, and I am going to pull my scrap paper back in. I'm just going to go over these back and forth, and it's a very light touch to the cardstock. Again, I don't want to ruin my tip by pressing hard, and I'm also holding it at a slant, not up and down, more of a slant, okay? And I'm just going back and forth like that over the trees. You can see I'm just doing it, going back and forth. I'm not actually coloring over each branch individually. That would just take too long. Who has time for that? And then I might go over what I call these grassy areas. Okay, and again, this is the light Mossy Meadow Stampin' Blend. Okay, I'll do it with my second one. Same thing, back and forth, a light touch. Going over the grasses. You can see how quickly I'm doing this. Okay, there's a lot of detail in the stamped images, so it's okay for me to be quick with my Stampin' Blends. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the dark Mossy Meadow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color on the right side of all the trees. Can you see that here? That kind of gives the impression that the sun is maybe shining from the left-hand side. So the left side of the trees looks a little bit lighter, and then the shadowy side on the right. Okay, so it kind of looks like the sun is coming from that direction, from the left. Okay, so to do that, I'm just going to go over some coloring on the right side of each of those evergreen trees. Okay. I'm also going to add some highlights in these grassy areas. Just darken those up a little. But again, there's no specific way to do this. I'm just going for it. It's okay. It's kind of freehand, I would say. Okay. I would say it's freehand using the stamped images as my guide. Okay, so are you getting the look of that light and dark? The sun shining from the left side of our picture, or the left side of our scene. Okay, here's something too I thought would be fun. You could leave it like this for a snowy picture and perhaps add a little snow on the tree branches, or maybe on the back of the horse's back or something like that, and maybe even go over it with some clear wink of Stella, so it would be a winter scene. Okay, same thing, but it could be a winter scene. See that? Okay, fun. Okay, all right, I'm gonna finish adding my dark Mossy Meadow here. I've got all my trees, but I'm doing the grass. Okay, now I'm going to fill in with my ink and some sponge daubers. I'm not sure if I think I use Balmy Blue here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do my sky first simply because there's less of it, okay? And I prefer to work from dark colors to light colors, okay? So I'm going to ink up, and you'll want to have scrap paper. And I'm going to show you a trick. It's easy, you know, to color, and then you get kind of that circular blotchiness to it, the circle shapes. Try doing this, kind of swirling in, okay? And you get more of a blended without the individual dot look, okay? So I see 3 people watching. If you are, oh, Chrissy, there you are. You're the 3rd person. I wondered who was watching. And I hope you saw my message, Chrissy, to go ahead and call me after 9 this evening, and I will do my best to help you with your paper pumpkin question. We'll definitely be able to have your subscription suspended for the month of June. Okay, no problem. Okay, looking at this, I figured I probably did use Seaside Spray. Different look. Okay, you want to see what that looks like? Let's do that. Let me grab this. It's always fun to try different colors. So Seaside Spray this was from last night. No, this isn't real. Okay, I'm not sure I cleaned that really well. Let me get a different one. Here's one that I just cleaned. Okay. So here's, yes. Okay, so here's what the Seaside Spray looks like. And again, start swirling before you actually get onto the cardstock. And that will help give you more of a blended look to your sponge daubing rather than filling it in with the dots, okay? So start off your cardstock in a circular motion and then just continue on, okay? Easy, right? Okay, which one do you like best? Balmy Blue for the sky or Seaside Spray? And of course I went a little heavy on the ink. As you can see here, you can go lighter as well, okay? I'm gonna set those aside. Which do you like better, Balmy Blue or Seaside Spray for this? Okay, now I'm going to use a different sponge dauber. And you can label these or put them in a little case so that you don't have to clean them every time. You can just have, you know, this one designated to be for your Mossy Meadow ink pad. I have a little case that I keep mine in. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. Ink up your dauber really well, and you're going to start off the cardstock. Start swirling on your scrap paper. And then just keep going around all those images. Okay, and go ahead and go over the horse. Okay, you're still going to see all that pretty brown blending through it, but remember, you don't want white underneath the horse or between the legs, okay, because this is what it would look like. Okay, kind of looks like it's just stuck on there. You want to see that mossy meadow grass all around the horses and underneath them and through their legs, all that. Okay, and remember, start out lighter. You know, you can always go darker. I can make this grass darker with more ink, okay, but you can't take ink off. So start light and then go darker. It doesn't matter if your blues and your greens overlap at all. In fact, that makes it look more realistic and more like a true scene. Okay, have that finished. Put all my ink pads and everything away. So this is what I have. Okay. And you know what? It really is handy. This is a great tip. It really is handy to have a piece of scrap paper just a little bit smaller size than your Stampin' pierce mat. And you can even cut, if you have our grid paper, you can fold them in quarters or cut them in quarters also. Okay, so now all I have to do is finish putting the card together. I've pre-cut my black. So again, these pieces that I stamped and blended and sponged on are 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And the black is just an 1/8 of an inch larger. So 4 3/8 inch and 3 1/8 inch on the black. Okay. Okay, was that easy? Okay. And you can do this. It doesn't have to be with just the horses. If you have any of the trees, like from Sheltering Tree, Lovely as a Tree, Rooted in Nature, anything that has kind of an outdoorsy scene, you can do this coloring and blending quite easily, and just gives a whole different look to your cards. And finally, I'm going to add these to my card fronts with some dimensionals. I'm going to add a couple extras here in the center since I'm using the minis right now. Okay. When I peel these backings, I just toss them on the floor. I don't try to make the wastebasket. I suppose that's not a good idea, but you know what? I'm gonna have to vacuum anyways, right? Okay, so there's that. Okay, does anybody watching have the Let It Ride horse stamp set? Whoops. I bought this because I have a niece, Sarah, 23, who lives in, okay, I just forgot. Harrisonburg, Virginia. Harrisonburg, Virginia. She just graduated from James Madison University a couple months ago, but she is a horse lover. She loves to ride horses, etc. And I'm embarrassed to say I haven't even sent her a horse card yet. I just used this for the first time. So I will be addressing one for her tonight. Okay, so I hope you liked today's project. I hope you've learned some tips about blending both with our Stampin' Blends markers as well as blending with our sponge daubers. Okay, a couple of reminders. If you place an online order on my website, maryknabe.stampinup.net, using the monthly host code, which you can get off my emails or my blog or actually my website itself. Place your online order and I will send you 5 free hand-stamped cards. Okay, there'll be 5 different ones as a thank you, just a show of my gratitude for choosing me as your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And then finally, if you are in need of a Stampin' Up! Catalog, all you have to do, I'm preparing mine to send out, all you have to do is private message me your mailing address. I would love to earn your business. Chrissy and Inez, you are already on the list to receive one, so expect that probably by Monday, early next week. I'll say Monday is a holiday. And Dana, you probably have yours already since you are a member of my team. Okay, ladies, thanks for joining me. Remember, please join my Stampin' Piece VIP group because my Thursday Facebook Lives will be switching to the Stampin' Piece VIP group. Tuesday evening will still be on Stampin' Scrap with Mary Knabe, okay? But Thursdays will be here, and I'll send out an email and announce it on both of my business page and my group as well. Enjoy the rest of your week. I think it's going to be pretty hot here in Ohio, and we are going to be feeling it because we'll be helping Andrea move to her new apartment. Anyways, thanks again for choosing to watch today. Bye-bye.